This is Because Teeth Podcast with Greg Santiago and Cody Preble.
All right, we're back with another episode today.
Back with another episode. What episode are we on?
What episode are we on?
Episode I have a tiger.
There we go.
That's what I'm feeling like. Day 2 of our seminar. So we are just going to talk about a little bit of basically our second day going through all of the material. So today was a couple of subjects, not as many subjects as the first day, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
So this was
But they were still packed.
definitely packed and started off strong, definitely with nutrition.
Came out the gates, yep.
Yep, came out the gates with nutrition. So that was a fun-filled topic.
Yeah, and that was a big one that I knew I needed to definitely study. And because I haven't done that class since I was doing prereqs 2-3 years ago, I didn't really have that material necessary there to pull like PowerPoints and stuff that I could in the other classes. So that was one I was actually kind of waiting for and was excited to get to.
For sure. And you know, it's funny because we touched a lot of like we build it on nutrition throughout the program in certain classes, learning about some of the pathologies and some of the anatomies to correlate with, you know, nutrition. So it was nice to kind of like take it back and then kind of like put it together and kind of, you know, understand, make sure that we thoroughly understand why, you know, this happens and not just, you know, this is this, why, you know, the kind of the why and bring it, you know, just kind of tying it all in. It was a nice kind of, like you said, go back and learn this material. So I like nutrition, honestly, as far as like, you know, understanding all of it because it ties into so many different things.
It does. And
there's so many different, you know, diets, bodies, you know, so many people are, you know, certain areas or certain deficiencies or just so many things to think about.
Even just how it ties to the two specifically, like when you were in nutrition before, your nutrition teacher had no idea that you wanted to go into dental hygiene. So she wasn't, or he wasn't pushing like, oh, this is how nutrition plays a role in your oral health and your teeth and everything. So connecting those two is nice to see now.
And it was a nice segue because right after nutrition, we basically went into basically like a overall clinic review, and we kind of went right into medical history and understood that part of it. And it was really nice to get all of that background, that why, you know, and then kind of go into that portion of going over medical history and kind of tying it all together as far as like understanding why we counsel our patient if something's happening. And now we had that why right before, you know, so it was nice tie-in. It's, you know, this seminar is beautiful as far as the organization of it and all the material. All of the speakers have been great thus far. So, you know, really, really happy as far as, you know, us coming to this one. I mean, obviously we can't speak on the other ones. We don't know or anything like that, but it was just a nice way to kind of get all of this material all at once and kind of go one after the other, but also tie them all together and kind of make it as one. So it just really felt like the morning versus just, okay, this material, even though that it is what it is, you know, that's what it is. It was nice to kind of tie it together and put it all
and
in
having
one.
the different instructors, like you said, they've all been very good. And I know yesterday I kind of mentioned that they all kind of bring their own learning style to it, but also just like having an instructor that's kind of fresh, like they come in, they do the 1 or 2 classes with us or the 1 or 2 subjects. And then that professor's kind of out. So then we kind of bring in someone fresh. So they're not getting worn out as well. Cause it takes a toll on them as well. They're up there for 2 hours each subject presenting it. So having a presenter that's not up there for 8 hours all day. Yeah. It's nice. It keeps us energized and keeps us going based off of their energy.
Definitely. I would 100% agree with that because you want to keep your crowd engaged and keep us learning most importantly. And I definitely felt that throughout the day. And even coming back after lunch, we went right into radiology and we capped it off with community. And I really felt like that was going to be a really hard, you know, fun-filled, you know, when I say fun-filled, I'm using that as a motivating factor for me. Just a lot of material, and I thought it was going to be very intense, and it really wasn't because the way that they have it structured and the way that all of the material is, it was kind of almost like, obviously we've taken all of these classes, most of them at least. We've taken at least radiology and community.
Yeah, all the ones that we had today, we did.
Yeah, and kind of putting it kind of maybe like taking it back as far as like broad spectrum a little bit, so understanding those big key factors, and then you still got your, your details about everything, but it was kind of nice to kind of like, it just felt like a review, and it just felt really good. So I really liked going through this, the way that it's set up, and just keep pushing through this last material and putting it all together, So, I mean, I'm super excited to get into day 3, to be honest with you. And it's going to be obviously our last day. It's
we've got some good stuff coming in day 3. It's going to be
my favorite.
Full one.
Just to start off the morning, we're going into day 3, starting with pharmacology. So that's going to be a fun-filled.
Actually, anatomy. So we're starting off with pharm's after, though.
Oh, okay.
I know you're getting excited for pharm.
I know. I'm like, it's like you said, you want to review it because it's challenging to me. So I want to review it. I want to get as far as I can because that's my most challenging subject. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. And it was nice also, too, because kind of segueing out of like community, I felt like community was going to be a hard one today. And like I said, the broad spectrum of the topics and the information, kind of getting that out the way. And now the last day is, it's going to be anatomy and pharmacology. And then we're basically just going to, I guess, touch on a couple of other things that I'm not going to give away the whole, shebang kind of thing. But, it's just a nice way to kind of go through a lot of subjects today in a way, but also in a very nice fashion.
Yeah, they didn't want to pack it in right at the end. They know at this point, everyone's kind of winding down.
Exactly.
Once we kind of passed that midway point, even the instructors and professors knew about it. They're like, all right, you've kind of passed midway. And I think at that point, everyone was like, all right.
Yeah, we're there.
We made it halfway.
Because it is a lot of material.
It is
a lot of material to understand, to correlate, because some of this material can get kind of, I'm going to say like mumbo jumboed up, because you get so confused with, like, for example, nutrition with today. I mean, so many B vitamins. You got to understand what number B vitamin is, riboflavin or, that kind of thing. So we got to really kind of keep that straight. And there's just so many things to keep straight and keep it on path, and really just taking. And I will say that I'm starting to feel like I know where I need to really, really kind of spend the time, because we've done all of it in so little time too, like, even, so much information in little time, that now I'm starting to feel like, okay, this is where I really, really need to go back, even if it's, something that I kind of know, and spend less time on it, and there's things that I'm like, yep, I need to spend more time on it. And
I was feeling the same way. Like, we would definitely be talking about some things. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling good with this. And then other parts I'd get to, and I'm like, ooh, yeah, I'm definitely let me make a little note on this. I'm going to have to come back to this later for sure.
Yeah, so anyways, we just wanted to kind of come on here, make it kind of a quick episode. And day 2, I guess that's really it. We'll kind of wrap it up.
Yeah, we do have a word of the day, dental term. So,
all right, you're gonna keep testing me.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and roll dental terms. And I know you're a little burnt out, but I think you got this one today.
All right, let's do dental terms.
Dental terms 102. All right, so today I know we said we talked about clinic a little bit, so I'm gonna touch on a clinic term for you.
All right, let's do it.
So I've got disinfection versus sterilization.
All right, so disinfectant is basically, it does not kill the organisms, and sterilization kills the organisms as far as bacteria.
Plus, there's one key part that sterilization does that disinfection does not.
You're going to have to give me
a mushroom has, I think a mushroom grows from this. Spores.
A spore, yeah, but that's part of killing that bacteria. You're killing, like, you're killing the spores. You're right. I got what you're saying.
That's all I heard.
Yeah.
That's just the key word
And sterilization is probably, there's certain ways that you're going to do certain things. You can't always sterilize everything, even though you want to. Mm-hmm. There's certain things you have to disinfect, and there's levels of disinfecting.
Yep.
So that is definitely a good one to know and kind of bring it back, as far as the clinic, because, I mean, we learned that.
Very beginning. Before we were even working on patients and stuff.
I know. And from having my experience, and then, kind of going it, with our whole program and everybody some people new into dentistry and stuff, and some people learning that disinfecting and sterilization process, it is a little bit cringy to me, because it's like certain people, don't touch things with gloves, or they do touch things with gloves. And I understand everyone's learning. So, I just try to, kind of guide people to let them know, like, hey, like, you need to have gloves on if you're, touching the cavicide wipes, or, like just certain things like that. And I think it's very important overall, because you really, really got to spend time on that, especially in the present day, what we're going through with this pandemic. And, hopefully this will come to an end at some point. It doesn't look like it's too soon, unfortunately.
Yep.
But at the same time, it's very important to know what disinfecting is and sterilization, and know the difference. And like you said, understanding the spore and really diving into the definitions of those. Yep. So do you want to give the actual like...
Yeah, I can give you like textbook.
Give me the textbook deep down breakdown of it.
All right. So disinfectant, it's an agent used to destroy or inhibit the growth of microorganisms. And then sterilization is a destruction or removal of all living organisms, including highly resistant bacterial spores. So they both kill microorganisms, but the difference there is sterilization being that it kills the bacterial spores.
Gotcha.
Getting a little bit deeper into the disinfection.
That's why we have the spore little strips in our autoclave whenever we run our instruments, so that way we know that it's actually thoroughly worked. And, it's very important to check those things. Yeah. Sometimes a lot of those things get overlooked. And even with the disinfecting, same kind of idea. Some people like, oh, let me just wipe this down real quick. It's okay. I don't need, my gloves on. I know nothing touched it. Like, it takes another 2 seconds.
And it's very easy for those kits to get mixed up. I know we've seen it happen before, and where we thought this one was clean and it got put in the dirty pile, and now it's getting opened up, and that's all it took was one person to check in and say, hey, they caught that mistake ahead of time. So it prevented a lot of, I don't know what the word is, but disaster, I guess.
Yeah. Well, to say the least.
Yeah.
But it is important also to, like I said, in our present day society, patients are asking that, hey, are those instruments clean? Like they're asking this, and they're doing more research, because one of the things that came out, with everything was stay away from the dental office. And now that we have this, I hate to say it like that, but, we have COVID, that this is what we have to adapt to it as well.
Yeah, cleaning on everything is heightened. This is at the forefront of everybody's mind.
And we have to explain the disinfecting process of, we use this kind of material. It's not a traditional, people think we're grabbing a Lysol wipe and wiping something off or something. No, that's not what it is. It's funny, but there's levels to this. There's levels to this. So we have to be able to explain that to the patient and let them feel comfortable, most importantly, because like I said, patients will ask you.
Yeah. And that's all what it comes back to, is patient comfort in the end with everything.
Of course. So yeah, that was a good term today.
Good.
I guess. A good topic, I guess.
Yeah. Tied into today.
So yeah, short little episode. If you guys are listening and you're new listeners, we do appreciate any of our new listeners listening to our new episodes and stuff like that. So if you guys aren't following us on social media, please follow us on social media. Follow us on Instagram. We are on Facebook as well now. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Our email is because.teeth@gmail.com. And just make sure you're subscribing if you're listening on YouTube, and follow us on Spotify if you're on Spotify. Follow us on Apple Music or Apple Podcasts. If you're listening on any of those platforms, just follow our podcast, so that way it kind of helps us out, and we can see, who's listening onto, these, and make sure we're uploading them, as necessary. We kind of have a platform that we upload everything at once, so it's kind of nice. We're kind of working out some of the kinks in the podcast, so we're working hard to kind of get those things, all dialed in. So we appreciate you guys kind of giving us support and feedback and any type of support. And yeah, I think that's it for today. Day two documentary in a way. I feel like this is a diary of our.
I know we're gonna look back at this after and be like, remember when we were back at the board review?
Exactly.
Getting prepped up for the board that we're about to take.
Yeah, we went through 10 hours of material and then recorded a podcast. So yeah, but all right, thank you guys. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on the next episode. We'll have one more day of this, 3-part series.
Yeah.
We'll have one more episode on the material, and not as far as the material, but like of us going through this review. So we'll see you on the next episode.
Why do we do it?
Because teeth.